Good morning, sleepyhead. You ready for Halloween? Or are you ready for a Halloween vlog? Cue the intro. Just kidding. I don't actually have an intro anymore. See, the opinion I regard most highly in this world is that of my mother, and she didn't like the old one. And I remember my sister showed her one of my videos, and she said, "Max, why does your video start with child predator productions?" And I told her two things. Said, first of all, it starts with pedophile gaming, and second, you don't like it, we'll cut that out. No more intro. But while my channel previously has touched upon the primal fears of the corruption of the innocent and gamers, today we're going to be exploring a very different avenue of spooktacular fun. We're going to touch on themes of suffocation, claustrophobia, I guess thalassophobia, submechanophobia, moist concerns. But Gorgoth, you ask, why are you planning to spend a Halloween crawling through some dirty sewer tunnel when you could be going to a party or trick-or-treating? I mean, you are 5'8", that's pretty acceptable. Well, I'll tell you this. Halloween is not about putting on a mask or a costume and becoming something we aren't. It's about that one special time of year where we can take the mask off and show what we really are. And in my case, I'm a 5-foot cockroach, and I belong in a sewer. Now, the average cockroach has a handful of adaptations that allow an environment like a sewer tunnel to be nothing short of home sweet home. They can hold their breath for up to an hour. They have a slow, or is it fast, a varying speed cellular cycle that enables them to regenerate in the event they ingest toxins or radioactive components. But more than anything else, cockroaches have no sense of shame. They have no sensations of love or familiarity, fraternity, brotherhood, nothing. They just eat and crap and survive. But I'm of the opinion that there's something admirable about that. Because it seems today that all you see is people fraternizing and becoming brothers, but not surviving. Because I am a cockroach on all levels except physical, I will need to make some substitutions in my survival characteristics if I want to make it through this All Hallows Eve unscathed. To make it through today, I'll need more than just rudimentary, unrefined knife skills and a pathos of self-loathing that shrouds my every action. No, I'm afraid today I'm going to need to make use of a pair of waterproof shoes, a self-updating digital map, a keyring, maybe a compass, and the tool of fear itself. Now, unlike most weapons, the end goal of wielding fear is to make it powerless. I'm not going to focus on scaring anyone else today, or making anyone uncomfortable, or feel unsafe, or concerned with the sudden apparition of an abnormally large, abnormally verbose cockroach within their neighborhood. Now, it is an utmost concern of mine that no one be harmed, or disturbed, or frightened by my actions. Just in case, I have made a conscientious effort to take these actions on the one day a year where people are okay with being scared. Now, this video might No, I can assure you that the character I play for this video is just that, a character. And while we have a couple of sympathetic characteristics, such as an unusual fondness for the taste of raw mushrooms, any of his more audacious characterizations are the product of my imagination. Powerful thing, I'm of the opinion. But again, not dangerous in the least. As I record this, and as you can see, it's just after 1 in the afternoon. Now, it being the part of the country and time of the year that it is, it'll start to go dark outside at about 5 p.m. This only grants me a handful of hours to make it to the tunnel, through the tunnel, and to a therapist's office. But I'm confident that that is enough time. And so, fortified heavily with a delightful mushroom omelet, a Twix bar, half a packet of peanut M&Ms, and the aforementioned pair of waterproof shoes, I set out into a day that feels a little too bright to be Halloween. Oh, almost forgot. Not yet, but eventually. Anyway, right now, I've officially decided on the intended route towards my destination. I could probably take a quicker, more direct route that takes me to the tunnel. But with the direction that I'm going, I'll be spending more time amongst the delightful greenery and less time next to the road, which, in my opinion, is the scariest thing you can find for miles. And as we can see, this demonic night has claimed its first victim. Now, I think we all know what's particularly scary about this, but just in case I need to spell it out, this lizard has no tail. Now, personally, I have nightmares where I have no tail, but then I wake up and feel that little nubbin of my spine that grew a little bit too long, and would you shut up? So brave. What was I talking about? I'm not a furry. It was, it's a genetic thing, but let's not worry about that right now. Now, to our left is a very different adventure that I'll be taking some time away from. It was on that trail that I had my first real accident on the plains. Don't worry, I didn't shit my pants, otherwise I would have started this video with that story. But I did get lost. And when you do what I do, getting lost is not a good idea. You know, there was a period of time over the summer where my circadian rhythm did a 180, but somewhere along that transition, I would wake up at maybe 4 in the morning, and I had nothing to do with myself. So I just kind of come down here, and I'd record dance videos to Aisha erotica songs, but then I accidentally deleted them, and it kind of, you know, ruined my mood so much that I guess stopped getting up so early. Or I was just transitioning back to a normal sleep cycle. But still, this place brings back memories. And the memories bring back you. Oh, there's a time that I remember where I found 2 fig-eater beetles over there. So if you're into beetles, that's the place. Now, erosion has been getting pretty bad in recent years because of the unusual rainfall. Sometimes too little, sometimes too much. But I like to do my best to keep track of how colonizing species restore the landscape after things like landslides. Now, you couldn't see it back when it first happened, but there was almost no vegetation because this entire area crumbled down into the drink. And slowly it's been retaining. And you know nature is healing because these orange cones have come out of hiding to mate, I can only assume. One of the only issues I take with the reemergence and overgrowth of the plants around this area is that it can change the trail quite a bit. You know, it used to be really easy to get down to the water over yonder, just climb on the rocks as you'd expect, but in the recent months it's kind of grown to a non-hiker friendly position. But that's okay, you know, it doesn't grow for me and it shouldn't. Oh, hello. We've got what appears to be a mallard, just relaxing. Is this getting too scientific? I promise it's gonna get scary really soon. Just like scientifically scary. This area used to be real good for getting down to the water itself. Oh, hello, squirrel. Down to the water itself. And I would, but be kind of a significant detour. We only have so much time remaining for me to get to my destination. And you might have noticed a tonal change at some point, hard to place exactly when, between probably when I was in the house and when I left it, but there's a decent enough explanation for that. See, despite not being what I'd consider an introvert, I managed to burn out my social battery talking to myself, which I didn't know was possible, but that kind of made me dark in the not fun way. I got too into character, whereas now I'm just enjoying the beauty and splendor of the natural world around me, and it's raising my spirits so high I'm actually finding it somewhat difficult to be as spooky as I'd like to. But you know, a good spook needs a bit of energy to it, so we'll see. It's about 32 minutes since I first left the house on my expedition. By my estimation, I'm less than a third of the way there, but that's okay. I'm making decent enough time, and it's about the journey, not the destination, right? Except considering that I'm traveling for a tunnel, the destination is another journey. You go in one end and out the other. At least if you're not afraid of a big clown man in there and a crowd of people who thinks that he's funny even when you don't get the joke, and then, you know, everyone looks at you and he has a gun too. You know, it's often said the best real world morality test we have is the humble shopping cart, because there is no real penalty for neglecting to put it back, but putting it back would be a nice one. Now, in the case of a shopping cart submerged to the cankles in foul, green, fetid ooze, putting that one back would be, well, just about the best morality score anyone's ever received. But that too will be a quest for another day. Not that I don't have experience pulling large objects out of this particular stretch of the water, because I actually own an office chair that came from here. I call it the river chair, even though I'm not certain if this is categorically a river. It would seem that I've actually miscalculated the pace at which I've been going. I'm ahead of schedule, because any minute now I will be in the desired destination. And once I'm there, the real fun begins. However, I must confess, I do have a spot of nervousness about me. See, while passing underneath a bridge, I made eye contact with a group of 20-somethings that were lounging about underneath looking suspicious. To try and make them feel comfortable and believe that I'm of a similar walk of life to them, I attempted to make my behavior, posture, and mannerisms as suspicious as I could, so that they'd be like, oh, a fellow underworlder. I'm rocking with that. It didn't seem to work. So for all I know, they're hunting me down now. Oh, I can feel it in my bones and in my snap map, because we are reaching the final stretch of the first stretch of our journey, and it leads to somewhere pretty interesting. But for the time being, my plan is to round this corner and find myself at the gaping, pregnable mother of all culverts. I think it's a culvert, probably not. As I understand it, culverts are kind of closer to the street than where we are. But I'll think of a new word for it, as that is what explorers like me do. Well, boys and girls, ghoulies and goblins, I have nothing more to say to you except for the simple fact that we are here. Now, you can't see it super well just yet, but when I carefully and gradually come to an organic step down here, you start to get a look at what we're working with. And it's pretty exciting, if I may say so. Now, I just undid my own shoelace by stepping on it, but you know, fortune favors the fuck-witted, so this is a good omen if anything. Give me a second. Here we are. Hope you don't mind the skip, but it's not so easy to climb with a camera at an acceptable angle. Acceptable, that's not a word. But just take in this scenery. Take it in. I seem to have chosen auspiciously because the artificial tide, as it were, has receded, leaving me a nice dry path into the abyss. But also the animals are nice and healthy. We've got little fish floating around, and then if you got keen eyes, a crayfish. We're gonna see a lot more of them, although you'll notice something interestingly different between the ones out here in the sun and the ones that are not. Now, with flashlight on and echoes wonderful, we take a brief moment to wave goodbye to the spider hole before we go on our journey. Now, places like this are frightening for a myriad of reasons. They're claustrophobic, dark, relatively unexplored, and the worst part is, you might have to well, looks like I've already spoiled it. But an interesting thing about this is you often have to wade through water to get to one end. Luckily, I'm wearing my waterproof shoes, and luckily, I've never been especially bothered by the cold, although this water likely isn't very clean at all. But here we are, and here I am being brave. Now, not a lot lives here, but as we move along and travel through, I can feel the fear take hold. Okay, nice and wet. We travel along the rocks, paying attention to every coolest shadow around us. Sorry, I'm a little bit delirious, and my shoes are so wet, but that's part of the experience, is it not? And look at that! We're already close to the end. Oh, but goodness, just a couple more wet steps, and now we have rocks to move on. And I find an important part of tunnel exploration is you have to keep your spirits up. So you have to sing to keep your spirits up. I know it sounds absurd and kind of cringe, right? Like that one Warhammer 40k card that made you do like a verbal battle cry around the table to do extra damage, or it was like you gave bonus points to whoever had the biggest mustache, whatever the fuck. Anyway, the point is, I'm slippery, I'm slipping, slipping out of sanity, and a good point, and weird noises. That's okay, I'm the most dangerous thing down here, and there are things down here. There's clams, that's not alive. There's well, you know, crayfish. Some big ones, some small ones. Let's see if I can't take a look at the big one. Making it scientific. Mud, that slippery mud gives me power. I have to be careful not to slip. This would be a bad place to do it. But we're relaxing, we're having fun, enjoying the tunnel, looking for crayfish. Come on, crayfish. My loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. I went a little off key at the end, but you get the point. That one always helps. Sometimes it's David Bowie's Starman. Sometimes it's other things such as such as those kinds of things. Sorry, I had to. Jeez, come on, be brave. You come this far, which is brave in and of itself. These are I don't know if you can see it. They're stretch spiders. They have a convergent evolutionary body plan with the crayfish that inhabit this area, because it's more efficient to be long and thin in this environment As for the specifics of why, I'm not entirely sure yet. But gosh, it's well lit, isn't it? You can just see everything. See, most of the expeditions I've been making to this place have been, on average, about 2 hours later in the day. So not a lot of the crayfish are really active yet, and you can't see any of the big ones. But I promise they're there. And like I alluded to earlier, they are albino in here. I don't know if that's literally the condition they have, but what you understand to be albinism is what I understand them to have. It's just nice clear water. Luckily, it's unlikely that this water is directly poisonous to me. I know things like rat tail maggots live around here, which can definitely cause some contamination. But you know, the water itself is cold, crystal clear, moving very fast, and can, as previously mentioned, host crayfish, which are a keystone species. I sound really unathletic from these noises, but I swear I'm like a Jewish Superman. So it's Superman. But here we are. Oh. Here we are at the final stretch. I just untied my shoe again, but you can see the crayfish moving in and around the water. I can only imagine. Sorry about the light. That has to get irritating. And, you know, I do find light irritating. Which, oh, yeah, I just tripped myself with my untied shoelace. Oh, isn't that a perfect safety lesson for you kids? Oh, all right. Give me a moment here. I'll be back in a second. Oh, fuck. Oh, I haven't been recording. Okay, I really hope the part... Actually, I'm going to have to go back and check. Because if that most important part is not there, I'm going to feel like a bit of a dillweed. Okay, I'm kind of burnt out on this poo-poo tunnel exploration bullshit, but I just got to show you, for the purposes of telling the story, how I get out of there and how I get down there. There's a rope someone affixed to the fence. I can only assume it's like a plumber or maintenance crew. My shoes are slippery, so this is difficult, but you just, rappel along, and that's how you get in and out of there. All right, definitely recording this time. Unfortunately, I had to get my feet pretty deep in this deliciously pure drinking water. Oh goodness. because the rope was all the way over there, and you can't actually walk along this wall on account of it being a wall unless you have the rope, in which case it's as easy as pie. I'm pretty confident in my upper body strength, but wet shoes, to complicate the matter and give you rope burn to compensate. Now I could, of course, just climb these rocks all the way up, but that's difficult to record doing. Well, it's technically also extremely difficult. As I've just mentioned, I can use this here. Oh, don't slip this here rope to assist me. Except not one-handed. So let me try to put this in my mouth. Actually, no, that's gonna make it fall. Never mind. All my pants are falling down. Okay, that's where we came from. As you can see, we're pretty high up. We have to climb using the rope. Those are the gravestones, water breakers. No, they're actually something different that lead into the tunnel. Now, I also, that silly, I hope you can see it, that face there watching us. Gosh, I'm exhausted, and my feet are full of flesh-eating parasites. But that's okay, because I got peanut M&Ms in my back pocket. I got a song in my heart. It might be by the Spice Girls. Statistically speaking, it's probably by the Spice Girls. But the point is, if you don't... Oh, free grape juice. The point is, if you don't have faith that I really climbed out of there, I know where you can get some more. That satanic adventure took place next to a church. And since it's Halloween, it seems fitting that sorry, that's not me being dramatic. It's just me being a little nauseous. The most frightening of locations, the Catholic Church. I think they're Catholic. I don't know. They might be Presbyterian, which is, I don't know. Maybe it's also scary. I wouldn't know. Religious horror is kind of taboo, so it's only being explored more recently with films like The Nun, such as that. Yeah. From this, that's where we were. That's tunnel over here. The cars are next to us. The beautiful sound of the cars. God's favorite beast, which he created alcohol to help us commune with. Hey, I don't drive, and I don't plan on driving, and I do not like cars. But drunk driving is badass. Drunk driving, I don't just mean like in unfortunate contexts where you happen to be drunk and then you need to drive and you don't want to. I mean taking a little sip of 99 bananas to get the edge off. Don't ask me why that's the first fucking liqueur I think of. I really like bananas. I'm sorry. I'm kind of an ape like that. What was I talking about? This doesn't need to be in the video. This is just car noises and schizophrenic ramblings. I'm not schizophrenic though. I have a big respect for my friends that are. Actually, I have a friend who might be watching this video, so sorry, mi amigo. Oh, this is not disrespectful, you know. It's not your fault that you have a condition that would, in ancient cultures, have been recognized as shamanic and allowing you to commune with spirits, which would have been very beneficial for a village. But modern society, can you even hear me over the cars? All right, I told myself I wasn't gonna record again directly next to the cars because that's not a good viewing experience. But a lady just turned and asked me if I knew where California Pizza Kitchen was, and I kind of do. And I gave her what I hope are the right directions, but I would feel so bad if she got led astray and she never got to sample Kung Pao spaghetti, which is the real dish that they serve and that I ordered for real and that I for really regret. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm a saint. So being on my return trip now, it seems like the whole shebang took just over an hour, but that's neat. In total, considering the fact that I've been psyching myself up and also the trial runs I have been doing were like much later. It's kind of a lot darker and more mysterious, and I didn't have a flashlight then. It was comparatively a lot less frightening this time, but that's okay. I get that it's kind of lame that I did it at this point in the day, but understand that if I actually slip and fall in the middle of a drainage tunnel when it's getting laid out, suddenly there's an element of actual danger involved. And you know, the way I do it now isn't dangerous because I have a lot of experience with this kind of thing. Well, here we are at the end of our journey. I'm wearing significantly less pants than when I started, but I will say I'm closer to feeling morally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually fulfilled. Now, whether or not you could consider this a success remains to be seen, because the fact that it was like a lot less spooky than I was hoping. It's kind of lame because it does not look all that scary. But hey, maybe if you're someone who hasn't spelunked a lot, it'll be terrifying. Now, if you'll excuse me, I forgot all of my character motivations for this vlog, and I will be taking a bath now. Please don't watch me.